Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we are looking at a very old game that probably you don't even remember, which is H.A.W.X 2 by Tom Clancy's. So this game is actually from 2009. Some things to mention, or honorable mentions, is why this game is even on the radar. Now, I know that this is not a flight sim. It is a flyable arcade at best. And I know there's a war, ongoing war between the Ace Combat fans and I think one or two H.A.W.X game owners, which probably I might be number 2 in the whole wild world. So there's some things about this game that I would kind of want to outline. First and foremost, the game itself uses GUI. So GUI is a poor man's version before Google Maps were around. So it was kind of taking satellite images and rendering them into the game, which was attempt to give the game a more realistic look, but since you're flying up in the sky and very rarely go on a ground level, unless you have a ground target, well, you know, it was additional eye candy that taxed out the system a lot. Now, after all these years, because I'm bad at math, 2022, we are able to max this game out in 4K and see what we're gonna get. So, what are we gonna be playing around here? 4K native anti-aliasing at 8, because why not also for this game. I'm not entirely sure this option even works, and you'll see what I mean by that. Vertical sync is off, obviously. We will enable some of the advanced features, which is view distance, texture quality, and stuff like this. We are running DirectX 11 version, so there's 2 versions available if you own the game, DirectX 9 and DirectX 11. The difference between the two is, I don't know, different DirectX API. I haven't noticed any improvements or losses using any of those, but again, 2009, wow. Name the GPUs that were the top cards at the time. So one thing we're gonna do is test performance by running a synthetic benchmark, and then we're just gonna screw around a little bit. I know this is not the game that you would casually see or even remember it exists, but I spent a great deal of time in this game because it gave you so many unique vehicles or aircrafts for the time. You can fly F-117, the Nighthawk. You can fly A-10. Obviously, it's very small, tiny areas where you go point A to point B, and all the airplanes have like 200 missiles they can shoot, which is not realistic, but as I said, it's an arcade. There's no actual physics involved. It's more like point and shoot and, you know, hope for the best. So don't take this game too seriously. Definitely, I would say Microsoft Flight Simulator or even Microsoft X Flight Simulator was a bit more realistic than this. But hey ho, here we are. So let's test the performance, run a 4K, see how many frames you're going to be getting and how the game actually looks. And you might be surprised. So we start with a bootleg F-35, I believe, judging by the look of it. Yeah, and so all these mountains, as you can see, all this valley, all this is thanks to GUI. So it kind of tried to bring the terrain in life, and it was a big deal back then, you know, this attempt at realism. So, you know, all these shadows, the tessellation that came in, this was very taxing game back in the day. And when we look right now, so what do we have? We have over 200 frames, which is good luck maxing this game out in 4K back in 2009 with 200 plus frames. That would never ever happen. Literally, there was not a hardware that could do it. So we are currently using 3.5 gigs of video memory that kind of should tell you about the quality of the textures used in this game. They're very small, very compressed, or basically just low quality, and maybe the 4K makes it look good, but that's about it. As you can see, explosion effects are very generic, almost like sprite level. You know, there's not the actual flame animations going on. It is how it is. You know, it's 2009, guys. Honestly. So is this game worth playing? No, unfortunately. As much as I would love to spend my time pointlessly aiming at auto-aiming missiles and seeing these explosions, I would say if you played this game when it came out, you probably are not gonna return to this game. You have much more better options out here even for the later dates or the same year if you are able to run them on Windows 10, which I would say is a big plus. Also I think Ubisoft is cheating, because if you can run this, I do not see why you cannot run anything else from Ubisoft from the same year. Looking at you, Ubisoft, I'm watching you very closely. So average frames 200, maximum 293, so minimum is somewhere in between, I guess. But what we're gonna do first and foremost, we're just gonna screw around a little bit, which is a single mission. Let's go for free flight, and let's go for Scotland, because, well, everybody wants to be Scottish at some point, right? So let's just take a look. There are some things when it comes to this game mechanics in comparison to the first Hawk, which is a takeoff and landing sequence, which was not in the previous title. And you have two different planes to choose from. Now, both of those are MiGs, which is a Russian aircraft, and I would say that obviously some will say, oh my god, due to the situation in Ukraine, how can you do this? Well, unfortunately I don't have any more planes available. And I'm going to be taking MiG-25 Foxbat. Now, this is a very interesting plane by itself, because basically made by Russians, obviously, back in 90 whatever. But this plane is literally two insanely huge engines strapped to the airframe, and just that's it. We're talking at ballistic missile level. This was the fastest plane at the time that was scaring the fuck out of USA. Well, it had its downfalls for, well, basically being kinda shit, apparently, based on a documentary I watched the other day. But apart from that, apparently it was quite viable as, you know, showing the power of Russia, which is, you know, always been the case in the Cold War between the countries. So we're gonna take this one and see where we end up here. So I don't have a joystick. I do believe this game is better with a joystick. We're going to be flying keyboard and mouse, or just keyboard, because mouse controls are weird. And this is how it looks. So as you can see, you have the very simple controls for the, well, not exactly rudder. This is your camera control, right? So you might be wondering what it is. It's page down, page up, that you can kind of use to look around. Honestly, in real gaming life, so to say, you will never ever use this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for start the engine, and you can see the controls. I don't have to tell you that, guys, right? And we're just gonna reach the 330 kilometers per hour takeoff speed. As you can see, the engines are almost the whole plane, and this is why the Foxbat was supposed to be the best plane ever, and it turned out to be just two turbines in general. So you do have an option to kinda pick up gear. I think the first time when you take off, it actually does it for you. I'm pretty sure it does it for you, but before you land, you kinda need to land the gear. So let's take a look how it actually looks and feels. So we are at 200 frames plus, and I have no idea where in Scotland this is supposed to be. If I could see like a major city, like a capital like Edinburgh, I would probably know, but considering we are at some sort of weird location with the ocean or the sea, I'm not exactly sure. So let's go a little bit on a ground level so you can understand the GUI's purpose here. So I wouldn't say that the first attempt of making this game was bad. It was kind of fun for some time, but it never really took off because it was so repetitive. Apart from every aircraft basically handles the same. The loadouts you kinda earn, or you're just being assigned a loadout to complete a mission, which was kinda useless. You know, if you go against multiple enemies in a mission, so in comparison, say, to DCS, and I know that DCS fans will hunt me down and will beat me the fuck up, but hear me out. So when it comes to, in comparison, DCS to this game, you cannot compare them, full stop, obviously, because in this game, as an arcade, you have waves of enemies, right? So they will just spawn 26 aircrafts over that direction, and you have to go and neutralize them if you can. So let me just drop the airspeed a little bit, and yeah, stall obviously, which we can recover fairly easily. So let's try to shoot out some missiles so you guys can get the idea about the performance and the graphics here. So this is the best you're gonna get here. So when it comes to flying in different areas, I must say you probably kind of get the gist of how all this is working out for us. So this is the arcade, the H.A.W.X 2. So supposedly we need to initiate the landing. So what we're gonna do is do the landing our own way. We're not gonna do a correct approach or anything like this, because come on, like you gotta be kidding me. So yeah, to be fair, if you were asking me why am I even doing this, like why am I playing this game, you know, it's just honestly for kind of fun, give or take. You know, when it comes to DCS, it's a very, very hard game to master because they try to keep the realism up a lot. In this game, there's no such thing as realism. Like you literally, it's make believe. If you are able to make believe, you're basically good. Because currently you wouldn't be able to steer onto the runway with a rudder just by going 350. You know, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, I think you kind of get the point, right? So we were able to just land like this. So this might not be the best example of the GUI, but I just wanted to see what they made of Scotland. So let's go for Tokyo, and this is a bit more. We're gonna take M23 Flogger, which is a switchblade plane, similar design to F-14 Tomcat. So basically, once it goes for full speed, it will retract the wings, and if you go for bombing run or you need extra precision, it will extend the wings, or, you know, open up the blades so you get more precision for dropping bombs. In comparison to F-14, I do believe this aircraft was not as nimble or agile as F-14, despite F-14 being very heavy. And obviously there's been some revisions for F-14s, but hey ho. And yeah, the cockpit looks a bit more better altogether. So again, this is just to showcase how they made the games. Obviously, this level and all of the levels that you get for free flight, you will be playing in real game campaign, and you will be like different missions. So I do believe for Tokyo there was like air support, and this game what it does is follows that very typical Ubisoft trend of they will tie in a lot of their own stuff in here. So for instance, you will provide support for Michael as a ghost lead and stuff like that. So, you know, from Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, so you will just shoot targets that ghosts are having issues with and stuff like this. Apart from that, I would say it's not exactly all that bad. Would I want to play this by myself? No, not really. It's not really my jam. At least not anymore. I used to play these games, you know. I was just flying around and I was like, oh damn, I can like shoot things. And to be honest, like we all did that, right? I'm not the only weirdo here who says like, oh, I was able to shoot things and things were great and everything. So, you know, it's just one of those things. And again, one of the titles that still run from 2009 despite the age or advancements of our operating systems. And this is, I would say, the most important thing about everything else. Because what else there is? You know, when you look at things in general, what else do we have here now? So let's just do a quick Cobra loop and see if we can find ourselves a bridge to fly under. I'm pretty sure there was a bridge somewhere here we can fly under and feel very great about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably it's somewhere behind us. You guys see a bridge? If you see a bridge, shout. I think I see a bridge. Yeah, it definitely looks like a bridge to me. Obviously there's no G-locking here, there's nothing, there's no redouts, there's no blackouts here. There's no maximum G that the aircraft is disintegrating mid-flight. None of that stuff. Good old flying, or just good old, very casual flying. You know, it's more for brainless, feel-good time stuff, and that's pretty much all there is. Anyway, I thought that maybe you will want to have a reminder of the time when, you know, companies were trying to squeeze into the market for flight sims or flight in general, throwing in some new technology, new software like this GOI stuff, H.A.W.X engine, all those other things. Trying and failing, you know, because obviously sales kind of show them if they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and that's pretty much all there is. So yeah, again, that's kind of all there is. And that was quite not impressive at all. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. 16 minutes of travel back in time. Thanks for watching. See you all next time.